Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Empire, where we dominate the crypto market. My name is Connor. So as I'm sure you're all aware, the US went ahead and they bombed Iran. Major military action, and we do have escalation. A lot of key levels have been hit on the totals we've been talking about. USDT dominance hit 5.1%. Is this it? Or is this going to get even worse? Let's talk about it in this live stream and start off like we always do with our crypto market overview. So, sharp sell-off. Bitcoin, as we can see, is still holding our range lows. Our range lows are right at $100,000. And we're holding on by a thread right now. Many altcoins, as per our last live stream, right? For example, we'll look at Tau, because we spent a lot of time talking about Tau at the level. How it just kept on bouncing on this support, bouncing on this support. Well, a lot of these coins, they broke through that support. That exact scenario we've been discussing, right? Where these support levels were getting weaker and weaker on the bounces. They went ahead and broke through. And also with that, we have USDT dominance hitting a high of 5.10%. Actually, it hit 5.11%. Okay, so we were off by 0.01% here. However, it hit our level, right? This is a weekly, remember, this is a weekly supply zone that we had marked out on USDT dominance at 5.1%. All right, so now the question remains, is this it for the market, or are we going to go even lower? We're going to spend most of this live stream talking about this exact scenario and, of course, answering your guys' questions. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these, or the top 100 in general, looking at the crypto bubbles. Everything is red today. Everything is red. And this can be represented by just looking at the crypto total market cap, going ahead and making a new low, right? We went ahead and we went past the June 5th low. And in this moment in time, like I said previously, 3 trillion is certainly on the table for the total market cap. Let's see what's going on here with our live chat. By the way, guys, if we look at the homepage of the New York Times right now, this is what it looks like. U.S. enters war against Iran. Plastered right there for everyone to see. The U.S. has entered the war with Iran. This is certainly a invasion type of headline, right? Remember the saying in the markets, buy the invasion. But is this really the invasion to buy right now? Again, we're going to discuss. Shout out to everyone in the live chat. Shout out to all you guys, Adrian, Kent, Sam Fox. We got James Brasco as well. We got Digibyte. What's up, Digibyte? Panda, Sean, saying it's lagging. Well, hopefully it's not lagging anymore. Hopefully it's not lagging. Hopefully we have good connection right now. So let's get into this. So as we can see, 6 huge bunker busters and 30 Tomahawk missiles were fired from submarines, and these were used on the attacks on Iran. This is not a... All right, we are lagging. I have a notification now from YouTube that my signal is not great. That's very unfortunate. Hopefully it will get better, and hopefully you guys can see and hear me clearly. But anyways, this is a pretty serious military escalation. 6 huge bunker busters and 30 Tomahawk missiles. Moving along further, from President Donald Trump himself, he says, "We have completed our very successful attack on 3 nuclear sites in Iran." He names them out. He says all planes are now outside of the airspace. And then the punchline here is the last two sentences. He says, "Now is the time for peace." After he goes ahead and launches 30 Tomahawks and 6 huge bunker busters, he says, "Now is the time for peace." And with this being said, immediately following the attack, Iranian state TV said every American citizen or military in the region is now a target. It certainly does not look like peace from both sides at the current moment in time. People saying that they can hear me, but they cannot necessarily see me. That's not really great, but we have to continue on nonetheless, because I'm really not sure what I can do to fix this signal. It is bad weather today where I am. It's very stormy and rainy, and that could be the reason for it. Hopefully it's not going to affect this live stream too badly. Looks like our bit rate is way too low right now. Anyways, with this being said, while all this is going on, we have the Trump team depositing Trump token to Binance. So Trump's starting a war while the Trump team is going ahead and selling off major amounts of the Trump token. It really is comedy at this point. Huge deposits, $32 million sent to Binance of the official Trump meme from the team. What are they going to do if they deposit to Binance? They're probably going to sell. So they've deposited $150 million to exchanges so far in 4 different batches. $150 million sold off, and much, much more off of exchanges from the official Trump team. So yeah, I mean, it's a joke is really what that is. Here's a funny meme, right? So voters, everyone's like, yeah, we'll take the Epstein files and we want Fauci in jail. And then the reality is, best we can do is a war with Iran and public land sales to BlackRock. Again, it's comedy. It really is comedy, but it's pretty sinister and sick at the same time. Anyways, moving along further now with our news right now. So the U.S. military is briefing troops that its strike on Iran will likely result in counter strikes on U.S. bases and facilities. Again, it doesn't really look like peace is on the table currently. All right, so in the Middle East, and that's likely they're going to activate foreign terrorist organization cells abroad, including the U.S., to conduct counter strikes. So again, is this really the invasion to buy right now, or are we going to go lower? It certainly doesn't look like the bottom is in just yet, with the amount of escalation even further potentially going to happen. Here's another funny meme, as you guys know. I mean, it's really not funny. It's just like, it's satire. It's pretty sinister, but Coinbase was the official sponsor anniversary of the U.S. military parade. So this is a meme saying Coinbase sponsored. Obviously, that's not true, but given the current state of affairs, it is definitely a joke that makes perfect sense here. And also Polymarket, a lot is happening on Polymarket. And it looks like Polymarket told us the story that Iran was going to get bombed before it actually happened over here. Also, right now, there's a lot of people betting that there's going to be a regime change in Iran. What does that mean? It means that the U.S. is going to go in and it's going to change things up. Man, it says I must be lagging pretty badly right now, guys. Can we get some comments in the chat on how bearable the lag is? Is it bearable to continue to stream, or is it so bad that you guys can't even watch the live stream? Because if it's that bad, I'm going to have to turn it off, try and fix some things and fix the connection and go live again. Let me know in the live chat if we have to make any adjustments or if we can continue to push on here. Because as we get into these charts, it's going to be really important for you guys to be able to see everything clearly. But anyways, back to what we were saying. There is looking like there is a chance of a regime change where the U.S. will go in. It's bearable. Okay, it's bearable. Comes in waves. All right, good. All right, it's bearable. Anyways, as we were saying, it appears that Polymarket, a lot of bettors knew that the U.S. was going to attack Iran, and this is evident from the betting markets on Polymarket. Basically, the odds soared, especially this one, the U.S. military action against Iran before July. As you can see, the odds began to soar, absolutely soar before the event actually happened, indicating that yes, likely some people knew ahead of time and they used the Polymarket betting markets to go ahead and make some money off of it. And here's a tweet from Zero Hedge saying no leaks this time. Again, satire. So now if we look at Polymarket and we look at these polls, I definitely do not condone betting on war. I think we can just use these polls to catch some current sentiment and see how people are feeling, see where people are putting their money to kind of indicate how things may be playing out here. So all the bets for the U.S. military action against Iran, they're all now 100%, okay? One right now is, will the U.S. officially declare war on Iran before July? Very unlikely at this point in time. And also the fact that this guy, the leader of Iran, will be out. So look, it does look like escalation is on the table even further. What does that mean? Let's get into the charts and talk about how this does translate into the crypto market. So again, that big weekly supply zone on USDT dominance hit at 5.1%. We did see an initial reaction. From this point in time, I don't want to keep on moving goalposts. However, up here, 5.25%. We have the previous swing high. We also have a little partial fair value gap here. Okay, this is the relevant level now, higher on USDT dominance, 5.25%. Again, I don't want to keep on raising the goalposts and saying, yeah, it's going to keep going higher and prices are going to crash. But at this moment in time, I do think that this is the appropriate thing to do. We just had these daily closes, and the daily closes are very telling. For example, here on USDT dominance, we had a daily close above the previous swing high, a convincing daily close above the previous swing high, indicating that this is a bullish break of structure on this chart, that it likely wants to continue to go higher. All right. So anyways, 5.25% is our level to watch now on USDT dominance. How is this going to translate to actual coins? Let's talk about it. Also, one more thing. On dominance, we have Bitcoin dominance making another new high. Another strong daily close above the previous swing high level, indicating that, you know, this is definitely not topped. And let's go ahead and show you guys. Right, we had that close above the PSH, closed above the previous swing high. So at this moment in time, we do have still 66 to 67% on Bitcoin dominance, or DT dominance at 5.25%. Let's keep on moving through these. By the way, the BVOL and the Ethereum Volatility Index, they still haven't moved. It's pretty crazy. Or Ethereum is starting to move, but the Bitcoin Volatility Index is still not moving. Okay, so again, here's the total. And for the total, like we discussed last stream and before that, 3 trillion. 3 trillion is on the table. We have our daily 200 EMA. We also have our line at 3 trillion, okay? 3.01 to 2.99 trillion is the key level lower now on the total market cap. Okay, with that said, some people might be trying to draw a double bottom here. However, there is no bullish divergence to couple with it at the moment in time, current moment in time. So yes, the price action does show a potential double bottom. However, we do not have the confluence with any bullish divergence on the higher time frames, indicating that it's really not looking great. Okay, so this daily close did not close above the previous swing low. It came back into this level at 3.1, 3.08 trillion. However, 3 trillion is definitely on the table. Total 2. And for the total 2, as you can see, we blew right through the 6-day order block here. Blew right through it. Closed underneath it as well. Or we closed right at the bottom of it. And we also came and we reversed exactly from our little hidden level here at 1.05 trillion. Now, looking at this, right, remember we talked about the potential triple drive, and we have the triple drive on the chart now, just like the total with the double bottom, right? We have 1, we have 2, and we have 3 touches on this trend line. It's definitely an enticing place on the chart, right? Especially because we planned ahead so much and we were expecting these levels to get hit on the total 2. It's definitely very, very enticing. However, if we do see USDT dominance going to 5.25%, that likely means that this is going to hit the quarterly open at around 1 trillion. I don't want to keep on moving goalposts, but at the current moment in time, I think it's appropriate to be prepared and have levels mapped out in case we do go lower. So in the total 2, again, that's at 1 trillion. Quarterly open is at 990 billion. This general area outlined in our green shaded area is what to look for in the event that we do see more bearish price action in the market and lower prices. Again, that is 1 trillion on the total 2. It's really not looking great. Anyways, let's get into Bitcoin now. What's on the table for Bitcoin? So we obviously have the weekly fair value gap here, and this is from 100K down to 97,000. And I think it's extremely high likelihood that this fair value gap does get filled. The question really on my mind for Bitcoin, excuse me as I take a sip of water. The question now on my mind is the CME gap. The CME gap on Bitcoin, 92,500 with that, the yearly open. The yearly open on Bitcoin is 93,500 or 93,500. We also have the daily 200 EMA. Where exactly at the yearly open at this current moment in time? Okay. So this level is like, it's a really, really important support level for Bitcoin down here at the yearly open, 93,500. It's a big drop down to this level. Okay. I doubt it's going to drop 8% in a single candle, but it certainly can. And at the current moment in time, I think we should definitely brace for the potential. Again, I think it's a very strong chance that the weekly fair value gap is going to get filled. And with that, again, the question remains, are we going to go down to the yearly open and fill the CME gap at 92,500? I put decent probability on it. It's on the table right now, okay? For now, we have to see the reaction in the weekly fair value gap. I do expect 100K to break at the current moment in time and a move into this weekly FVG. We want to see how this lines up, right? We want to see how this lines up. If we see USDT dominance up here at 5.25 and this Bitcoin in the weekly FVG, right, that could be some decent confluence. However, just be very well aware that the yearly open is actually the most important support level on the chart right now for Bitcoin itself. All right, we have to keep moving through these because we still have one more major to cover, and that's Ethereum. So Ethereum right now, we hit the level, remember 2200? Remember how many times we discussed 2200 here, this level? Marked out with a price label. 2224 was the exact level that we had marked out. Well, lo and behold, guys, we hit it. We hit it exactly, okay, for Ethereum. Now, the question remains, what about 2K? 2K is a big, fat level that's just been sitting there in this massive inefficiency fair value gap. What's up with it? I think there's a decent chance we see 2K ETH. All right? We hit the 2200 level now. Completely filled it, right? As you can see with the wick on the daily right to the bottom of the zone. As per middle time frame closes, we don't really have any middle time frame closes inside of the level, indicating that there is potentially more liquidity to be taken inside. As you can see, even on the 15-minute chart, it really didn't even close inside of that little small level. So at this moment in time, guys, I think it's very, very possible we do see this level at $2,000 for Ethereum. I think we should brace for impact. And yeah, $2,000 per Ethereum. It's looking pretty likely right now. Remember, it's Saturday evening. We have Sunday tomorrow, and we have the weekly closes coming. And as per right now, this weekly candle, it's not really a great looking weekly candle. If it were to close like this, below the previous swing low, that would certainly indicate, in my opinion, we are going to see lower. And $2,000 is a big, big, obvious level here. Quarterly is at 1800, but first we should be concerned about 2K in my opinion. And with that, if we look at Bitcoin on the weekly time frame, BTC still holding the range. We'll see how the weekly candle ends up closing. But again, right now, this would be the lowest candle close inside of the range. So these weekly closes are going to be really important tomorrow. We have to keep a watchful eye. And of course, we will be live again for our Sunday live stream. But anyways, if we look at some of these altcoins now, we have Dogecoin coming all the way back down to 15 cents. Okay, currently at 15.4 cents. Now, as you guys recall, we did manage to buy the exact bottom in April on Dogecoin on April 7th at 13 cents. Well, it looks like there's a chance we may actually see that price again. We may see 13 to 12 cents again on something like Doge. Again, similar to what we talked about on Tau earlier, right? Remember, we have these support levels on all these altcoins, and they were just getting tested. Every time they got tested, it got weaker, and it got weaker, until eventually they lost the pivot, and they just fell through. Okay, so at this moment in time, we have to basically expect these altcoins, because they did not hold their supports, expect the range lows. The range lows are down here. Okay, the range lows on something like Tau are down here. Let's keep going through them. The range lows on something like XRP are, remember, we have the weekly pivot at 190 in XRP. Right? The weekly pivot on XRP is at 190 down here. And with that, if we look at the daily, it looks like we did discuss that potential for the triple drive last live stream, if you guys do remember, right? And as you can see, we did basically get a kind of a perfect triple drive here with this move down right to $2, right to our demand level, right to our price label as well. Our price label was at $2.01. So again, this just goes to show you guys, if you're prepared ahead of time and you have your levels marked out, that's why I like to use price labels, so I have specific prices. Right? This was a decent bounce, as you can see, right? 3%. It ain't much, but it's honest work. But again, I'm looking at the weekly pivots, the range lows. The range low on XRP is down at 190, guys. It's down at $1.90. And if we look, we do actually, we have slight, very, very slight bullish divergence here on XRP, but still, that weekly pivot at 190 likely going to get tested if we do head lower. So ADA Cardano completely lost the plot. Again, same thing on all the other altcoins. Support tested, support tested. Every test they get weaker and weaker and weaker until they lose the support and go towards the range lows. So on Cardano ADA, the range lows are going to be closer to 50 cents. Okay. Going to be closer to 50 cents. And with that, of course, we have to be specific. We have a very obvious weekly hidden level here, which is going to be at 44 cents on Cardano. Okay, so a very obvious weekly hidden level at 44.5 cents on ADA. Look, all of these charts, we basically just want to look. They all lost the plot. They all lost their major pivots. So they're likely going to head down to their major higher time frame demand areas. Right. If we look at Cubic was holding very strong. However, not necessarily anymore, as we can see, where we have price now coming back inside. This is a failed breakout, guys. Right? This is a failed breakout. Price tried to break out of this bull flag, failed, and now it's back inside. At this moment in time, because it failed, where is it going to go? Likely back down to the range lows, the demand levels. All right, so that's down here at like 1,200 per billion. Maybe we even see down here like 1100 per billion now. Every coin is likely going to head toward their range lows. Again, I'm repeating myself, but it's like it's important. Okay, so Solana. So here's Solana now. Came into one of our marked out levels. As we can see, we have a demand zone. This must have been on the 3-day. Yes, this was a 3-day demand zone here on Solana. It still is at $132 down to $126. Remember last stream, I know if Georgios is watching right now, shout out to Georgios from Greece. He asked me about Solana. And if I do recall correctly, I said, watch for the quarterly. Okay, quarterly is on the table right now for a lot of coins. And for Solana, that's at $1 or $125. So far, we have a reaction, though, from the golden pocket and this 3-day demand zone. But yeah, just like all the other coins we were discussing, right? We had this support level. Every time it got tested, it got weaker until you eventually break through. The real range lows are like $100 for Solana. The true range lows. So, yeah, that looks like it's ready to go lower. I mean, we should be prepared for some kind of a relief bounce potentially before, you know, the next the next leg lower. I hate to be so bearish right now. In the midst of all this fear and this political or this turmoil happening in the world. But I'm just telling you what I'm seeing on the charts. All right? Just saying what I'm seeing on the charts. Here's Caspa filling the quarterly open. Also down here inside of weekly demand. So the question now remains for Kaz is if we're going to see our juicy levels below 5 cents from here. And I'd say it's on the table. Now look, again, where's the range lows? The range lows are like 5.5 cents. Okay, if we sweep the range lows, we're going to go lower than 5 cents and we're going to hit that level. If it hits, that would be an amazing opportunity. You see the label down here at 4.6 cents. Anyways, we just went through a lot of charts. Let's take a little bit of a break and interact with our live audience. And let's see how you guys are doing, right? Hopefully everyone is safe watching the live stream. You know, if you guys are not in a safe place, like if you're in some kind of war zone, well, I hope you're okay. Seriously. So it looks like our lag situation has been figured out. Looks like a PowerPoint. Let's see. People saying it's depressing because we were so close to an alt season. That's been happening for the past like 2 years straight. Shout out to Crypto Maniac. What's up? All right, we don't really have a lot of questions right now. We mainly have a lot of people just sharing their thoughts and opinions on what's happening in the world, as well as some people asking about Solana. I'm going to put up a poll right now, guys. And let's see how you guys are feeling. Let's get a sentiment check, guys. Go ahead and answer our live poll. Is the bottom now in after this recent move in crypto? Is the bottom now in, or are we going to head lower? Don't just go off of what I've been saying so far. I want you guys to answer in your honest opinion here, okay? Something like Hyperliquid. Here's the weekly candle on Hyperliquid. So this has come back inside of here. And at this moment in time, right? It hasn't lost this structure just yet. It tested the lows of it. But if we were to see another move lower, in my opinion, we should be looking at the daily 200 EMA and the yearly open. That's down at $23 to $24. That's a steep drop. That is a steep drop, lads. What's upholding price right now is there is a daily, this is a daily fair value gap, right? And, you know, price is respecting it currently. However, it's the same situation that we had, in my opinion, on something like Tau over here at $200 or $350. Okay, we kind of have the same situation now on Hyperliquid. If we go back to that chart, where we have a support level, and now it's just kind of being tested and tested and tested in really not strong market conditions. So what tends to happen? The support breaks. Okay, so yeah, for Hyperliquid, yearly open is on the table down at $24. What is that, 30%? That's 27%. So brace yourselves for all the hype holders, and I mean altcoins in general, right? Because if there's one thing that I've learned, especially doing all these live streams and, you know, being so active and watching the market trading, it's that if I'm bearish on coins, well, then my stance in general should be bearish, right? In the past, I've been bearish on coins, and then I've been bullish on coins that I like. But that's a contradiction. That's an incongruency, right? You're either bearish or you're bullish. So yeah, I'm currently bearish, basically. You can't be bullish on one coin and then the next coin that has like a higher market cap be bearish on. I mean, you know what I'm saying, right? Like, you need congruency. So yeah, it's not looking too hot for the Hyperliquid holders right now. There has been a lot of talk, a lot of comparison. It's like our internet isn't the fastest right now. Again, we have some stormy weather outside at the current moment in time, which may be clouding our signal and making the stream connection not as optimal as it could be. I do apologize for that, guys. All right, so Bitcoin on the weekly, if we just take a zoomed out approach. Yeah, just very simple failed all-time high breakout. If we look at this on the weekly, right, and look at where the yearly open is, that's why I think it's important to discuss the yearly open getting tagged. Look at all of this. Look at how much of a strong weekly support this was in the past. 93.5K for Bitcoin. It's wide open. The door is wide open on the table for it right now. Again, somebody asked me about Sol. Your range lows are down at $100. Your quarterly open is at $125. I would mark those levels out. Those are the most relevant levels to be watching on the chart. Let's look at some of these shit coins on Deck Screener. Not all of them are shit coins though, but a lot of them are just memes. Let's see. Right, coins like TAI, just fill in the blank space basically. Toshi market cap 168 mil, filling all the blank space. Right, when I say filling blank space, I'm just talking about like all the blank space here. Ski Mask Dog back down to 36 mil market cap. So I thought this would go lower back in April, and it didn't. Back in April, I was looking for basically like 20 million to 15 million market cap. It ended up bottoming at 28 million. It's very, very likely we now see that level I was waiting for in in April that never got hit. Just like I said, Doge back to the level it was at the April bottom. A lot of these altcoins, they're going to go likely back to that key level, or if they front ran key levels back in April, it's on the table right now. It's definitely on the table right now. So yeah, be aware of that. On other news, again, they're not all shit coins. We got Treble Swap. Look, it's still holding. We're at 47 cents right now on Treb, 2.7 million market cap, and essentially in a consolidative structure. Being that my entire stance is, kind of bearish on the market, it is great to see this holding for Treb so well. We'll see if we do end up holding. Basically, we can draw out a demand zone here. Okay, this is on the 1 day we have this. Okay, so we'll see what the reaction. Ideally, we see the demand zone end up holding. That's down to like 2.27 million market cap. And we'll have to play it by ear. Look, it's a low market cap coin, so we'll see how volatile it is. But in general, let's watch this daily demand zone. People saying they're having technical difficulties, guys. I'm still live, right? Yeah, I think it's just that one person's connection. And let's go look at the other base DEX, Aerodrome, right? So Aero, looking at the weekly candle, a big fat rejection on the weekly right now. Okay, current price is 76 cents, and after hitting a high of 96 cents. So this was an outlier pump. This was a whale-driven narrative pump because of the Coinbase news. Right up here to the range highs. Bearish reaction at the range highs. So this is likely going to trade now. For sure your Monday low will get hit at 70 cents. But what I see is a daily demand zone for Aerodrome. And I see that down here. I see that down here at 60 cents to 55 cents. Okay, this is daily demand. Okay, so again, this is pretty simple stuff, right, guys? Think of it like this. This is your range low. This is your range high. Over here in April, price deviates the range low. Okay, comes back inside the range, retests the range low. Makes a move to the range high. Where is it going to go? Likely back down towards the range lows. Just simple price action. Simple price action here. We're range bound, kind of non-directional volatility. Failed to break out of the range high. Likely going to see a move now back towards the range lows. I would be looking for the daily demand zone on Aero. Again, 60 cents to 55 cents. I'm going to try and fix this connection. Give me like a minute. All right, we're back. Hopefully things are better now. Again, we have some stormy weather outside today, which is causing out our connection to not be optimal. It's an absolute shame, but we have to move on. Let's see if we have any updates on this war situation. So let's see. Representative calls for members of Congress to immediately return to D.C. and vote on his bill to strip Trump of the ability to drag America into war with Iran. Per CNBC, the U.S. is entering a new war 33 minutes ago when we started the stream. Okay, also, we have this 48 minutes ago. Trump says, any retaliation by Iran against the United States of America will be met with force far greater than what was witnessed tonight. Thank you, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. So it's really not looking amazing currently. And one moment. Let's take a look at Watcher Guru. I mean, their account is okay, they really haven't tweeted much. They must be sleeping. But a lot of money was liquidated from crypto. Anyways, it's not looking too hot right now, boys. It's really not looking too hot. Back to the total again. For anyone that's joining in our stream late, 3 trillion is on the table for the total. Total 1 trillion. USDT dominance. Again, I hate to keep on raising the goalpost higher, but it is appropriate right now to mark out important levels higher. So on USDT dominance, that's at 5.25%. Look, on Bitcoin, we have the weekly fair value gap. Right, here are your levels on Bitcoin. 98, 95, yearly open 93,500. Most important one, yearly open at 93,500. You also have the CME gap at 92,500. In general, let's look at this from a pragmatic standpoint. If you're out there and you think Dogecoin one day is going to trade back at the yearly open at 31 cents, or maybe you think it's going to go up to this daily supply zone at 40 cents, or maybe you see it going back up to 60 cents, or maybe going to $1 one day. Well, Doge at 15 cents is a good buy then, okay? Would it be a better buy at 13 to 12 cents? It absolutely would. But, in general, the fact that these levels have been hit, we've waited so long for, it makes sense to put in some small buys, maybe just get some more exposure to the bullish assets that you like. But you have to be certainly prepared for another leg lower, given the current state of affairs. And it's actually very funny, guys. Well, depending on your sense of humor, I should say. But if you guys remember Bitcoin Pizza Day and the Trump dinner. One second. If you guys remember the Bitcoin Pizza Day and the Trump holder dinner, they were on the same day. It was May 22nd. Okay. May 22nd, it was the top for Bitcoin. And it basically marked, it was the top, and it marked the transition from a buy program to a sell program. Every single time, guys, the Bitcoin conference curse, Bitcoin Pizza Day, May 22nd, it was the top for everything. You can't make it up. You really can't make it up. That's just another example of the Bitcoin conference curse playing out, I suppose. So if we look at something like Brett falling, same situation we talked about on all these altcoins look glaringly similar. Okay, we had support, tested support, tested support again, hanging on by a thread, eventually break through. Where do you go now? You go to the range lows. Okay, so for Brett, that's the quarterly open at 3 cents. That's down here. Down here in this, probably a weekly demand zone if I had to guess. It is a weekly demand zone on Brett at the quarterly open. All right, so whatever altcoin you're eyeing, feel free to put it in the chat. We can go take a look at it now while I'm live. But whatever altcoin you're eyeing, guys, they all lost their mid-range supports, so they're all likely now headed to their range low supports. Fartcoin, same story. Support, test, test, test. Breakthrough, can't handle it anymore. Where's the juicy level on Fartcoin? It's down here in the golden pocket. It's really, it's in the 60 to 50 cent levels. It's weekly demand. Quarterly open. Okay, so that's your weekly. Back on the daily, it's simply just this cluster of price action. Fartcoin likely headed towards this general area near 50 cents. And people asking about SPX. So this lost the plot, okay? Lost the trend line, as you can see. Support level broken through, trend line lost. Strong daily close below. We're at the monthly open. Let's raise the time frame here. So your weekly demand zone closest to the current price is at 70 cents, 75 to 70 cents. On the daily, it looks like this. It's 21% lower. I mean, these are fat drops. These are big, chunky percentages. But if the U.S. is actually in a war with Iran, which it looks like, and they're about to start going back and forth, yeah, it looks like it could happen. I mean, again, I don't like to be the bearer of bad news here, but as a realist, I got to keep it real with you all. Apex says, I was not bullish or bearish on Sonic. I was indifferent. It's now the worst performing altcoin. Can you speak to that? Yeah, I just never really paid any attention to Sonic, so that's why I was completely indifferent to it. I just, basically, you said I'm indifferent. That's exactly right. I just didn't really care about Sonic at all. I only looked at it because you guys were asking me about it. So that's what I can say about that. When I don't care about something, indifference is my emotion towards it. So you hit the nail on the head there, brother. Absolutely indifferent to it. Vincent says we're heading to the 90s tomorrow. Yeah, this weekly fair value gap, I mean, I don't want to say a 100% chance is going to get filled, but I'd say there's a very high percentage that we see the weekly fair value gap filled. Let's look at some more alts. So here's AVAX. Again, same story, man. Same exact story. You have this support level, right? Multiple tests. Eventually you break through. Where do you go? You go to the range lows. Okay, so on AVAX, like I was saying just prior, a lot of altcoins, they actually front ran important key levels on April 7th when the crypto market bottomed out in April. So those are on the table now. And on AVAX, that level that was front ran on April 7th was from $14 down to $12.50. Market set alerts. Get ready for it. Decent likelihood that we see it get hit from here. let's see, Monica, or we have Kelefant asking about Sui, and then we have Monica asking about JYAI. Okay, so here's Sui. Quarterly open on Sui, right? Lost all your support over here. Lost this level. Where's it going to go? Range lows. Range lows are down at the quarterly. 225 to $2 on something like Sui is what to watch for now. Maybe we see some type of relief bounce back to back test 280 before taking the plunge towards 2, but I mean, that's the range low. That's higher time frame demand on Sui at like 225 to $2. JYAI, another coin you can say I'm completely indifferent to. Let's see. Monica R asked about this. Monica, this probably has a market cap of like 2 million. 6 million. Nothing really to say about this chart. It's a low cap meme coin that I'm really not too fond of. Never really heard of it, but I'd say just taking a glance at it, I wouldn't be too surprised to see this opposite pole fill at just look at the first candle on the day of the listing on MEXC and take the high. Use that. Let's see. Will the strikes affect the stock market on Monday? They very likely will. Yes, absolutely. Word to motion. What about Alien Base? So Alien Base is completing its Burj Khalifa, which is not surprising to me at all. In my opinion, this thing is it's a burning dumpster fire. I mean, but yeah, nothing to say about this chart. It's literally at the range lows. So at this point in time, I wouldn't be shocked to see these range lows break. But I mean, hey, this is another coin I'm completely indifferent about. I can really just like care less about it. Indifference is the appropriate word. Shout out to Niraj. Shout out to Obi-Wan as well. Good to see you guys. We have someone asking about H-bar. Let's go take a look at H-bar. So H-bar was slipping sliding away. So H-bar was another one that front ran the key level on April 7th. And that looks like we're going to see it. The exact price level, the specific one, is 10 cents. 10 cents. Front ran it on April 7th. On the table now. There you go. There's H-bar. Let's see. Hugo, do you know why built-in farming on treble swap pools sometimes doesn't earn? I'm not sure about that, man. I'm not the right person to ask when it comes to technical stuff about that. I would go ask them in their Telegram chat themselves. Ask the team directly. Shout out to Dan Griffiths. What's going on, Dan? Guys, be sure to smash up that like button. I guess you guys don't like the bearish outlook today. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. Take a look at a few more of these alts. We have Algorand. Shout out to Tyro Crates. Okay, so algo is at its range low, right? It's at the Monday, April 7th, like bottom levels, right? So look, previously this was the level. Is it order block and a weekly fair value gap? Now you got this bad boy. Okay. Untested. You got an untested. That's what we like to see on algo. Front ran, it's 14 cents, 13.90 to be exact, to 13.25. In relation to current price, this is around 13% lower. Okay, so you have that. And on the 2 week, right, on the 2 week, we have a little bit of a different picture, which kind of shows down here closer to 13 to 12.5. Okay. So Algorand is likely going to see if we're going to see these levels, right, anywhere from like 10 to 20% lower from the current market price, and the higher time frame, 13 to like 12.5 cents, does look very enticing for Algorand if we see it. It was front run on April 7th. Again, guys, smash up the like button. Very low number of likes right now. I know it's late. I know it's Saturday night. And I know World War III is starting and it's breaking out right now in real time. But I really do appreciate it when you guys smash the like button. Thank you for your support. Helps out a lot here on the channel. Okay, Link, same story. Your important pivot level support could not hold. Price slid right through it now. Okay, here's your Monday, April 7th bottom at $10.10. Potential retest of the bottom from April 7th in play. For Link. Again, just looking at where's the range lows here. Okay, because like I was saying, for all the other altcoins we looked at, we lost this support in kind of the mid-range, which means that price is likely going to head towards the range lows now. So where's that? Where's that on Chainlink? It's down here below $10. Okay. Wait, let me see. I have a link chart marked out. Let me see. Here we go. Yeah, $10, $9.50. I'm using my lines. My lines are here for a reason. I marked them out previously. I remember marking these out back at the start of April. Okay, we had this move down, but this is your juicy level on Link. It's like $10 to $9.50 specifically. We already looked at Doge, but basically, range lows are back on the table, which was the key level that hit on April 7th, right? Remember, we bought it at 13 cents. It looks like we might see that again. And in general, if you think Doge is going to 50 cents, 60 cents, $1, these are all amazing prices for it. But if we want to try and get the exact bottom, we should be looking at the range lows. BNB holding up very well. Quarterly open is certainly on the table at $600. It's only 4% away. Where's the range lows on this chart? Well, your weekly pivot, your very important weekly level, is, wow. If you guys are into numbers, this is going to be a coincidence to you. Your weekly pivot, I just placed the line. It's at 555.55. 55555. I'm trolling. But yeah, for BNB, someone asking about BNB, that's your weekly level. 55555. 5 fives. 5. Anyways, on that note, everyone, guys, on that note, look, it's Saturday night. I'm going to be live again on Sunday, obviously, for the Sunday live stream. So we're going to wrap it up right now. I wanted to go live. I wanted to let you guys know what I'm thinking in the midst of all this hysteria. I want to talk about what I'm seeing in the charts, if the bottom is in, if we're going to go lower. I don't like to keep on raising the goalposts, or in this case, lowering the goalposts. But sometimes the situation calls for lowering the goalposts. Hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully we pump to the moon. But Trump's taking a pretty aggressive stance right now on things. And he seems to be really keen to start a full-fledged war with Iran and bomb them to bits. So it doesn't really look great at all. Okay? Definitely don't condone war, don't condone violence. War is hell. But here we are, 2025. And just look at who controls the money supply, and you will see why all of this is happening. So, and Iran still saying that every American citizen or military in the region is a target. We're going to monitor the situation, guys. We're in the situation room monitoring the situation. For now, we have our weekly closes coming in tomorrow. And the weekly candles right now are not looking very bullish. Okay. Again, 2K is on the table for ETH. Bitcoin weekly fair value gap. Most important level is going to be your yearly open at 93,500. We're going to discuss all of this tomorrow in our Sunday live stream as well, guys. All right. So I appreciate you all being here. Be sure to smash up the like button. And I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you all very soon. My name is Connor from Crypto Empire. Have a great evening.